Hello everyone, welcome back to lesson number 24 for BC Calculus. We're doing a lot of concepts in this lesson. The first video we talked about how to take derivatives of the natural log and log base 10. In this video we're going to talk about the derivative of the inverse, and then we're going to start talking about the other transcendentals later on in this video, or in this lesson I should say. But let's focus right now on how to find the derivative of the inverse. So you're given a function f of a equals b, and the equation for this derivative is what you see right here. So it's going to be 1 over the derivative of f of a. Now I wanted to say that this example, or this equation, is much easier represented by an actual example. So we're going to go ahead and head over to example number 1 and actually show you how to do it. And it's 3 simple steps is usually what I tell students to do. What they usually do is they'll say, like, if f of x is equal to x squared, and usually they'll have like g inverse here because they usually say f and g are inverses of each other. But you guys can see that this is the inverse of f. That's what the representation of this is. So I'm given the function is x cubed, and I want to find the derivative of the inverse of this function at x equals 8. So one of the things you guys are going to do here is this. You're going to go ahead and say that f of x is our function here. And then our inverse is going to be right here. So the inverse of each other. So I want to know when x is equal to 8 for my inverse. So when x is equal to 8 for my inverse, well, remember that if they're inverse of each other, then you would make y equal to 8 for your function. That's what inverses are. That's what you guys learned back in Algebra 2 pre-calculus, is that, if I want to find the inverse of a function, you just simply switch x and y, and then you go ahead and solve for y. And that's the inverse. That's how you actually solved it algebraically. So step 1 is to take this number, and this is going to be our f of x. So f of x is going to be equal to 8. So again, if our x value for our inverse is 8, then our y value for our f of x is going to be equal to 8. So we're going to set this equal to x cubed. So this number is always going to be replaced right here with 8. And we're going to solve for x. We're going to get x is equal to 2. Okay, so now when x is equal to 2, our function. So this will be our new y. But right now, all we care about is this. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to replace f of x with this value, and you're going to solve for x. The second step that you're going to do in this problem set is you're going to now find the derivative of your function. I want to find what the derivative of my function is. So what is f prime of x? And so that's going to be 3x squared. It's going to be 3x squared. Now what I want to do, guys, is I want to find this x value. I'm going to find the derivative of my inverse. So I'm going to plug in 2 into my derivative. And this is going to be 3 times 2 squared, which is going to give us 12. And that's part 2. Part 3 is going to take this number and you're going to put it over your under 1. So our derivative of our inverse at x equals 8 is going to be equal to 1 over 12. 1 over 12. So now that looks really crazy, but let's go back to our equation. So you guys can see what I did here. You can see that I switched x and our x and y, in this case our a and our b. So I made this our a, and then I took the derivative of our original function. I plugged in that a value, and then I put it over 1. There's going to be a video I will do for AB calculus a little bit later on in the year where I'm going to show you guys this example. I'm going to show you what this equation, where it's derived from. But in this video, we're just going to go very quickly because there's so much in this lesson that if you are interested in why this equation works and how it works, then I will have that posted for you guys a little bit later on in the year once I get to it in my AB class. So let's do another example. So let's look at the example here. F of x equals sine of x. I'm going to find the derivative of the inverse at square root of 2 over 2 on the interval of pi over 2 to pi. So the first thing you're going to do, guys, and I'm just going to go very fast with this one, is that you're going to take the value that we're trying to find here, and we're going to make it equal to this. So f of x is going to be equal to the square root of 2 over 2. So our x and our y's flip. Right, so this is the x value for our derivative or our inverse, so that's going to become our y value here. So we're going to set it equal to sine of x. And so we want to know where sine of x is equal to square root of 2 over 2 in the integral from pi over 2 to pi. Well, this is going to be in quadrant number 2. So we want to find out what x is equal to in quadrant number 2. So you guys realize that this is going to be the pi over 4 family. So in quadrant number 2, we're in 3 pi over 4. So this whole part right here is just to give us that value. Once we've done that, that is step 1, is make this our y, solve for x. The second step is going to literally be take the derivative of our function, and we're going to plug that value, this value right here, into our function, into our derivative. This is step 2 that you will always do. And you're going to get cosine of 3 pi over 4. Cosine is negative in quadrant number 2, but again, we're in the pi over 4 family, so it's going to be negative square root of 2 over 2. So that's going to be step number 2, is find your value once you find your derivative. Plug this new x value in. Then our third step is the easiest step. Our actual answer is going to be 1. It's always going to be 1 over this number. So negative square root of 2 over 2, which is going to give us negative 2 over the square root of 2. And this is going to be the answer for this problem. So it may not make truly a lot of sense about what you guys are doing, but hopefully this is the idea of what you need to do. All right. So let's look at a couple more examples here to keep this going. And for example number 3, it doesn't even tell us. It doesn't even tell us what our function is. But I like this one because this is actually a little bit easier for us to look at, because this is saying that g is the inverse of f. So this is what I like to show you guys. So this is f, this is g, and then this is going to be our x column, this is going to be our y column. So if I want to know g, when g is 1, so when x is 1 for g, which you guys see right here, that's going to be 1 for y for f. So what do? We got to figure out where y is equal to 1. Well, it's equal to 1 right here. Y is equal to 1. So when y equals 1 for f, then our x value is going to be 7. So this is true for both of these. This is true for both of these. So I'm now going to take x equals 7. That's our new x value. So it's given to us. We didn't have to solve for it. And if you're confused by that, what I'm saying is that if I plug in y here, y is equal to the square root of 2 over 2, I find through my function that x, my corresponding x, is going to be 3 pi over 4. Well, I'm given it here. I'm giving it down here in example number 3. It's telling me that the x value is 7. Well, what's step number 2? What have I told you guys step number 2 is? Well, step number 2 is to find the derivative of our function and then plug in that new x value. Well, that's why it is very convenient here that they tell us what f prime of 7 is. They tell us f prime of 7 is 5. So they're giving us all the work already. So that's our step 2. So now we have found what you guys see right here. We found now this value right here. It's going to be 5 in this example. Well, all we do to find this answer, ladies and gentlemen, is now write that value over under 1. So the answer to this problem is going to be 1/5. This is a fundamental problem that just shows the logic of the steps. It shows you what you guys have to do for the steps. And that's pretty much what it is. Usually for this question, they give you more information that you need. You may see like f of 7 equals 1. Sorry, that's exactly what you see here. F of 1 equals 7. And you want to know, where is this x? Where so this is our x, where's our corresponding y value? All right, so that's our idea behind that. Let's look at another one. More practice, the better we're going to get at it. A function f and its derivative is shown on the table. If g is the inverse of f, find g prime of 4 and g prime of negative 1. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this is just giving us a practice of what we just did in example number 3. So let's look at it. I'm going to go ahead and find g prime of 4 first. All right, so what I want to do first is I want to find out where is y4. Where is y4? Y is 4 right here. F of x is 4. And I want to find my corresponding x value. So my corresponding x value. So my corresponding x value is going to be negative 3. It's going to be negative 3. So when y equals 4, x is going to be equal to negative 3. Now, what I want to do is I want to find f prime of negative 3. And again, conveniently enough, I'm given f prime of negative 3 is 1/4. And so all I have to do now is take this number and place it underneath 1. And then I simplify this, I get 4. So the answer to this problem is going to be 4. Let's do the other one. So g prime of -1. I want to know where y is -1 because, again, this is our x value of our inverse. So it is right here. It's -1. So our corresponding x value is going to be equal to 2. It's going to be equal to 2. And you guys can have it written where this says f of x is equal to 4. Or in this case, in this example right here, it would be f of 2 is equal to -1. That's telling us, okay, when y is equal to -1, then our x value is 2. And now what I want to do is I want to find my derivative of my function and not use g. I want to find the derivative of our function, so f prime of 2, and that's going to give us -2/3. And so my answer to this problem is going to be 1 over -2/3, and this answer will be -3/2. It takes a little bit of time and practice to get this, but I think you guys will be fine with it. All right, are we ready to do one more question? Let's see if we can get one more down in this video. So question number 5 says, let f of x be equal to the square root of x, and let g be the inverse function. This is usually what you see here. So when g is equal to x, so again, you guys don't have to write this out, but it's always just nice for you guys to see this. So g is equal to 3 for x. That means that y for f is going to be equal to 3. So I'm going to set this equal to 3. So 3 is equal to the square root of x. And I want to solve for x. Well, what is x going to be? Well, I'm going to square both sides. X is going to be equal to 9. So this is my new x value. Just like up here, guys, that would be what we found right here and right here. It just tells us that this is now 9. This is our corresponding x value. All right? And so this would be 9, and this would be 9. Well, I want to find my derivative of my function. So I want to find the derivative of this function right here, which is going to be 1 over 2 square root of x. And I want to put 9 into my derivative. I'm going to get 1/2 times the square root of 9, which is going to be 1 over 2 times 3, which is going to be 1/6. And so my answer to this problem is going to be equal to 1 over 1/6, which is going to give me the answer 6. And that's all you do. So again, summarizing this video, 3 steps. Whatever this value is, you replace it with your y. Because again, inverses x and y flip-flop. So when x is 3 for g, it's going to be y for f. You're going to solve for x. And if you can't solve for x, it's usually going to be a calculator question. Usually that's what I see happen, a calculator question. And use your calculator to find out what the x value is. You're going to find your derivative of your function, and you're going to plug that new x value in there, and you're going to put 1 over that number. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you find the derivative of the inverse. Straightforward. Hopefully it's simple. Hopefully these were enough videos for you guys to do. I could do more, but this is really the idea of what I need for you to know. All right. I'll see you guys in the next video.